covers?
I don't know. I did this like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know. But hey, what's up, you guys? Johnny Bean here, exclusively Van Halen. Today is the anniversary, you guys. Van Halen 3. Thank you to Mr. Mike. I had totally forgotten. But I was over on I was on Twitch today, and you popped into my my stream, and you're like, "Hey, guess what today is?"
Yep.
I'm like,
It's
"Well,
March 17th.
I know everybody is out there celebrating. I know that."
I was on my way to go celebrate. I went and got corned beef sandwich at a pub.
Oh man, we have a pub just right down the street, and may have to go check it out. But you guys, let's do. This is just a quick show. We're gonna talk about some Van Halen 3, and if you guys want, Mr. Mike, we can talk about this as well. If if you've heard anything.
I hear everything from you, my man.
Oh, cool. All right, so quick show. All right, quick show, you guys. Let's do it here on what show is this, Michael?
Hey, this is Michael Anthony right here, and you are watching exclusively Van Halen on the Johnny Bean TV. Keep it there. Woo! See ya.
Yes. Thank you, Michael Anthony. Dudes. And hey, speaking of Michaels, Mr. Mike is here.
I'm one of them.
And you're in green, too.
Yeah, well, I'm mostly Irish, so I think I'm nationally obligated.
Oh, I thought that you wore green every day.
No. That brings out too much of the red in my beard.
I'm celebrating. I got
go.
some green back there. I don't think there's any green in this, but But you guys, let's celebrate Van Halen 3 today. But first, you guys know we must celebrate channel membership here on the Johnny Bean YouTube channel. Channel membership, it's a great way to help support the channel and support these shows because we need all the help we can get around here. Top tier executive producers are Music Therapy Laz, Majestic PB and J Cat, Woody Be Real, Flipper Carlin, CC, Bay Area Rich, Sherman Callahan, Nova 9, Warlag, R Habs, and Janice Lala the intern. Woo! Yay! Thank you so much, you guys, for being top tier channel members. And hey, speaking of channel membership, you get your name in green in the chat, and that's very, very cool for today. So Charles Kelly, you're a channel member. Your name is in green. We see you. Thank you so much, dude. And you as well. Where are you? Mike, there you are. Green, yes. Yay. Man. Let's see. Let's say hello to some people here, and then we'll get right into it. Peggy is here. Thank you so much. Knees Hurt is here. Max Server is here. Is it Reginald is here? Let's see. SR Incident is here. Good to see you. Thank you so much. J.R. Powell the Third Music is here. Good to see you guys. I mean, this is kind of a pop-up show, sort of. Normally, I'm not here on Mondays, and when I am, well, I'm not here, but I do like a Guitar Center.
Near me.
I'm usually up. Yeah, that's true. I didn't go up there today. Actually, I'll be up there on Wednesday instead.
Gotcha.
So maybe look for
Careful
a.
driving in the rain. We've been having some crazy rain this week.
I know. Yeah, it's been pretty weird. But let's do some Van Halen 3 chat, and then we'll wrap up with some final thoughts about the whole thing going on with the Steve Lukather new Van Halen. Who knows? Van Halen 4 or whatever.
Ooh, I wouldn't dare call it that, but it's your show.
No, I know. I know. I'm just kidding. It has nothing to even do with that at all. But I'm just, you have to tease, to get people to stay towards the end of the show, right?
Yeah, the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about Van Halen 4? Stay tuned.
Wait, where's the... Hey, Noel. Okay, so before we get to that, though, Van Halen 3, released on this day, March 17th, 1998. You guys know, we talk about this every year. I bought the album the day it came out. I think this was in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh,
I was hanging out with this band that I was in. We were working with Desmond Child. I remember we bought the CD, took it back to the place we were staying, hit play, and basically I wasn't in control of that CD player at the time. So they were basically skipping each song. Like, my first memory of this album is skip, and I was like, no, I want to hear it. So
play the first 10 seconds or something, and then
I couldn't believe it. So I spent the whole time like this. So I remember my very first time hearing this album was laying in bed that night with headphones on, listening. That was the very first time. So it was March 17th. 1998.
Years ago.
27. Dude, I'm 29, so I don't know. I was 2 years old.
Baby. It was my senior year of high school.
Man. So,
yes,
okay.
I'm seeing some commentary about the quality of such an album in the chat, and I think results may vary should have been the subtitle of this album.
Well, okay.
Gary Cherone? I'm not sure that's how you spell it, but
I don't know. Thank you for subscribing, Tam. Thank you so much. Okay, so what are your memories? You said did you buy it the day it came out?
Oh yeah. What happened was I was a young rocker who didn't have his sea legs yet, and I had just gotten into Van Halen on the tail end of Sammy Hagar. Balance had been out for a few months, and then I became a fan. Got to see them on the road just once, and then the whole thing with Sammy fell apart after they did the Twister soundtrack. And I went, my God, I just got here. This band was falling apart. I just got to be a fan. And I'd literally gone back a couple trips to Tower Records and the Warehouse and picked up everything that they'd had by then within that year. And I was soaking it in and becoming a huge fan. And then the only place we could get news for it, that I recall, was the Van Halen news desk back then in those days. And to get official news was from there. And I heard about this Gary Cherone feller who I didn't really know. And somebody in my high school was like, yeah, remember that song about what is it about? It's More Than Words, the acoustic song. And I was like, that is inspiring a new singer for Van Halen to like that. I don't know. But while I was waiting for this album to come out, because I'd heard the news, I checked out some Extreme, which is the band that did that. And I went, okay, I can see this. It'll be different for sure, but I could see how this fits in. And so I got excited about it. And then by the time it came out, I had it. And before it came out, MTV did a big thing on TRL. I think the day it came out. This was just the tail end of when they were still playing music videos. And they debuted the video, I think, a week or two before the album came out. Do you recall if it was something like that for Without You?
The song went to radio, and then there was a video.
Cool video, too.
I remember
for Van
that.
Halen, it was a pretty cool, very MTV-style video. Most of it shot here in the States, but they sent a crew up to, where was it, Norway or something?
I thought it was Hoth.
It was a very snowy planet. And they shot that ice castle. They got this model, and she's running through this ice castle that's there every winter, and people literally stay there overnight and stuff. But they got some really cool imagery from it, and then the band played in a studio to look like it was freezing cold.
They had some crazy. Well, you would know this. You're into this stuff. They had some crazy like camera effects.
So that was 1998. Which was the year before The Matrix came out, and they did a much smoother, but it was still photographs from cameras set up in 360 degrees. And they did a more jerky kind of prototypical version of that Matrix shot with all the still cameras in a circle where they animated Neo doing this thing, you know, but they did it with Eddie and the band and everything all around for that video. It didn't look quite the same, but it looked really cool actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cool video, and that video was actually on the Best of Volume 1 DVD version.
Oh, was it? Oh, yes, on the DVDs, which I think I got rid of all my DVDs. So
I don't even know what a DVD is. Yeah,
I only have Blu-rays now over there.
I don't know what that is.
Come out on Blu-ray, so I'm seeing some people who didn't love it, but I got to tell you, I liked that song. I didn't love how it sounded, but I liked the song and the energy that was in the video for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cool video, you know, for the time for MTV. It was new Van Halen, which, come on. I mean, amazing stuff. And I was inspired by the album. Like, you know, like I say every day, you know, I used to live with Desmond Child. And I remember watching that in it was in the studio. I was gonna say green room. What's like a little room like off the side of a studio where you just chill out. What would that be called? Green room, I guess. Well, hey, perfect, Dave. Say that green room. So
every room should be green on St. Patrick's Day.
Maybe it was a lounge.
Oh, okay.
Lounge. Yeah, it was a lounge. So I remember sitting in there watching the video and being inspired, and the band that I was in, we were playing a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
So when that don't
worry, Shred Flints, we'll get to beating up on the album too. We can do that as well. Oh my gosh. Well,
so anyway, so I was inspired by Van Halen 3 for the sound of of course Edward, the sound of the guitar. Yeah. All the stuff. I was writing all my own music on the side. I had a little drum machine. Actually, I still have it. This drum machine that some of you guys have asked me about this drum machine right here. It's an Alesis. I bought that around the same time Van Halen 3 came out. Actually, it would have been the same. Yeah. So I was using that. I was recording, stuff. I was inspired by the album.
It was a departure, in a lot of ways, sonically, and how Eddie was changing his tone, and yeah,
sure, it was a major departure from what we were used to, and unfortunately, a lot of fans just didn't get into it, and they didn't understand it.
Well, I also get that it didn't sound anything like Van Halen version 1 or version 2. That's literally why they called it Van Halen 3. They said feels like a different band. And yes, Noel, Matt Pinfield did a great interview with them, which was kind of about their entire history and how they ended up with this new band member and stuff like that. I remember that. And then I remember them coming on TRL, either via satellite or I don't think they were in the studio. Well, maybe they were new. Yeah, they went to the Virgin Megastore to open it, I think.
They did some signings.
Yeah.
They did some signings. First of all, big shout out to Matt Pinfield. All the best.
Amazing. He's a legend.
All the best to Matt. He's had some major health issues recently. I follow him on X. So Matt Pinfield, if you see this, all the best to you, man.
Yeah, he knows his stuff for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So they did the like Virgin Megastore in New York or something. They did they only did like 2 signings, something like, or maybe 3. I don't know. They did a few. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go. I didn't even get to see that tour in person.
I did.
But I heard
Van Halen show. Yeah,
heard a lot of great stuff about it, and of course, they did this. They were doing this thing called Live at the 10 Spot at the time. they did a show in, I think, Australia.
Yep.
I think Australia. Gene Hackman. And
you know.
yeah. And so I got to see that. They had a live thing over the radio where they played. They did a live show. I think it was from L.A. Billboard Live or something.
On that day or later?
I don't know. This was all around the same time.
Yeah,
it was a whirlwind of Van Halen 3.
I think on March 17th they were in New York for the actual release because they were on MTV, which was cool. That MTV, even in the era of coming up with, I mean, Britney Spears was about to blow up and all the boy bands were getting big again, and MTV still went, no, this is Van Halen. They helped build this channel. So yeah, we're going to, interview them and stuff. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm. It was great. So let's see. Let's go. I know this is just a quick show for you guys, but let's look at the song list here and get some of your thoughts on each one.
And I don't mean to make this a total love fest because it was definitely not my favorite album. I have problems with it too, but I think what I do celebrate is that they were in tough times as far as who they were as a band, and they still pushed through and made stuff. And that was it came out with some really interesting stuff on it, even if you didn't love everything.
I mean, it was a new band. It was a new era, and it really...
They didn't even get to tour before they didn't get to go on the road and tour and get to know each other and find their chemistry. They just had to go into the studio and make music and spit it out.
Right. I think, though, I think they had worked for quite a while on this.
Yeah.
Like, I think Cherone, I think Cherone had joined in, like, late 96, early 97. So, I think there was, like, a whole year
but it was
writing.
Cherone who later said, and I may have been even in recent times, he's like, I wish we'd gone out. Do you remember this quote? I wish we'd gone out on the road and done some greatest hits stuff together and then hit the studio so that we could see how we gel as a band in front of a crowd and let the people get to know us that way too.
That's what I have always thought. Oh my gosh, 27 years later. I've always thought that they should have gone out, done a tour or done some shows. But even, it was a different world then for music, MTV. There wasn't the social media that there is now where you can just throw something out, see what happens just like that, like these days,
Yeah, true, Noel. There was a whole second album worth of music apparently that we've heard rumors about, but we might get into talking about where that stuff might end up at the end of this show.
You think? Yeah, maybe. We got 7 minutes.
Did they have any radio songs? Yeah, he's my niece heard is asking, did they have any radio songs off this first album? That first single that's highlighted there that says "Without You" it debuted at number 1 on the rock charts. I don't know that anyone had ever debuted at number 1. They usually come in at 10 or 15 or 20 and they work their way up the charts. But it was the first time on whatever chart it was that they debuted the song, and it was already number 1 because every radio station wanted to hear it. Every fan wanted to hear it.
Everybody wants some, right? It was a huge deal. If you guys remember, anybody can remember back 27 years, I can barely, but Sammy had left, Roth had come back for a greatest hits, and then that was it. And then Van Halen put out a brand new record. "Without You" was all over the radio. The video was all over MTV. I think after that, Fire in the Hole, that was a single, or at least
I don't recall seeing it for sale in stores in a physical copy. But it was released on the what was the soundtrack, or it was promotionally used for the Lethal Weapon 4 movie, and they did make a cool video for that, but hardly got any airplay. I think you can find it online.
Yeah. So there was a music video for that. It was in the movie. That's the only reason I even went and saw the movie.
Yeah, me too.
Was to hear that. What else? Once there was a video for Once, but it was like a remix. It was a little the mix was different, but that music video was about as big as our squares here.
Yeah. It was this big.
It was on AOL,
yeah.
and it was literally as big as this. So it was very hard to see. Like if you find that video now, the resolution will be terrible because it was only this big.
And it was a refresh rate of like 1 frame per second. It was not very good.
Yeah. So let's see.
Russell, I know what you're talking about.
Let's see. Let's go through these songs. Let me get your. Well, I'll let you go first, Mr. Mike. Go through each song. Tell me your memories, your thoughts on each one.
Yeah, so Neworld was a really cool instrumental intro. It was the melody from Without You, played entirely on an acoustic by Eddie by himself. And he did this amazing trick where he plays the melody toward the end of Neworld in just harmonics, which feels like playing the guitar backwards. And I thought that, and it sounds amazing. Without You, I think rocked. The recording of Gary's vocals, I think, was not great. And I probably still my favorite song on that album because it got the most airplay. One I Want did not do it for me. I didn't love the chorus. But there was some other cool stuff in there, that choral sitar sound and that crazy pick he was playing with on that one. From Afar was a brooding. Am I doing it the way you want to? Just go through each one real quick?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Just go through each one, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on each
From
one.
Afar was like a dark, brooding swell of a storm of a song. I thought it was really pretty cool and had a dark edge to it that was more melodramatic than like metal or anything like that. Dirty Water Dog was fun. I didn't get what it was about at all. I thought the lyrics were kind of cheesy and stupid, but Eddie's work on it was cool. It was a cool riff. It was an old riff, right? From the that soundtrack he did that never officially came out, The Wildlife. Was it from that? No, what was it from?
Originally, it was a unreleased demo from 5150.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he brought it back to life and gave it a new sound. Once, some people were like, "Is this new Genesis music? What is this?" It's a slow ballad that. Gary's vocals kind of soar all over it, and it's what's really cool is it's Eddie on keyboard more than we'd gotten in a while, and his guitar work on that one is phenomenal. But Gary on that, it didn't sound quite right. Again, could have, and I think it sounded better live, but it did not sound great on the album. For me, Fire in the Hole was my next favorite because it was just an out and out rocker. The lyrics were a little weird, hard to decipher what he was singing about. He's saying it's about people spitting vitriol, the fire in this hole, meaning your mouth. Josephina was a weird track that I think they swapped another song for and ended up putting this one on the album. It was an ode to their mothers and mothers in general. And, 16, 17-year-old me, I was just skipping that one, but they did play it live acoustic on Japanese television that year, and it's kind of a cool just duo of them doing that. A Year to the Day was another dark, brooding, I've had my heart ripped out kind of bluesy song where Eddie's solo just sears. It is, put that one on and put it on loud. It is not like Van Halen you've ever heard before, but Eddie is doing some cool stuff on there. And then Primary is an instrumental noodling that he does. Again, I keep calling it a choral sitar sound, but he was getting that from his Wolfgang or his
it was a
EP.
sitar.
It was a sitar?
It was a choral sitar. There's a choral sitar as a guitar.
Right. I didn't know if it was a tone he was getting through effects or if he was really doing it on his guitar or on a sitar.
He actually played one because he had used one on Ain't Talking About Love on the guitar solo. If you listen to one of the sides, you'll hear a sitar. It's probably not the same one, but it's the same type of instrument.
And that was an intro to Ballad of the Bullet, which was a political, hey, we all need to cast our votes thing. It was a weird. Suddenly, we're talking about civics in this song, and it was all right. It was upbeat. It was fun. I liked the Eddie's riff. Dun 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 dun. That was a great little riff, a boogie, if you will. And then How Many Say I was a tough pill to swallow. There are some very beautiful parts of it, but it's a piano ballad that is pretty much just Eddie playing, singing lead. Gary comes and sings back up on the chorus, but Eddie's voice is pretty damn rough, I gotta say. What do you think about all these songs?
Well, what I think, you guys, Neworld, instrumental, Edward on acoustic, Mike Post on piano.
Oh, that's right, Mike Post, right.
It goes right into Without You. And I'll tell you guys, I grew up being a huge fan of Mike Post, his TV theme songs. One of my favorite songs.
Music producer more than anything.
One of my favorite songs ever was the theme to a show called The Greatest American Hero. And that was a song by Mike Post. Joey Scarberry is the vocalist on that. You guys hear that? You'll never get that song out of your head.
Well, lyrics were updated by one George Costanza.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I never had a problem with Mike Post on this album. Huge fan
I have some words when I run into him.
Okay. Well, so Neworld goes into Without You again. A great radio track. It was a great song to bring Van Halen back into this new era. Cool music video, all that. That goes into One I Want, which it starts off kind of a Panama kind of vibe. If you listen to the guitar, Edward's tone on that, and a lot of this is very clean. A lot of clean tones. And actually, at one point, one of the songs we'll get to in a second here, he kind of makes a reference to one of my other favorite guitar players. Anyway, One I Want, always dug the music. I'll admit, most of the vocals on most of these songs, I don't even know what Gary is singing. Most of the lyrics I can't understand, but it's rock and roll. I don't know if it matters.
Doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. Let's see. For From Afar, that was the one that had the cool delays on the guitars, right? Dun dun dun. Right. That one has some trippy guitar solo.
Yes, you're right.
It's actually backwards, I think. Right.
That's one I would put a star next to if I was telling people which tracks to listen to. From Afar might be one of those.
That's a great one. Number 5, Dirty Water Dog. Originally, that was an unfinished recording for the 5150 album, right? Dirty Water Dog. Yeah. It was the riff. You can find the demo online. It's called "I Want Some Action." It's either "I Want Action" or "I Want Some Action," and it's Sammy singing. It's actually from 5150 era.
And do you know where the words "dirty water dog" came from?
It's a hot dog.
It's a hot dog, but do you know who called it a dirty water dog?
No.
In the Van Halen household, it was Wolfie.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, there was a story somewhere in an interview where he was saying, "Dad, are we going to get one of those dirty water dogs when we go to New York or whatever?" And he thought that was so funny that he was calling it that or whatever.
Because Van Halen, Edward, and Valerie and Wolf, I guess they would go to New York quite a bit.
I think it was about going to New York, yeah.
During the 90s. During the 90s, because I remember Valerie was on Conan O'Brien, and Edward was standing back, he was watching, the camera pans to him. And so there was a few times.
There was something about Wolfie. He thought it was so cute the way Wolfie called it a dirty water dog. So that ended up in the song.
Cool. So let's see, Dirty Water Dog. So so that was a demo from 5150, and then it was an instrumental, which is I think the fans call it Stompin' 8H. I don't know if that's officially the title of it.
Right.
Edward played on Saturday Night Live when Valerie was the host. He wasn't. I don't think he was the actual musical guest.
He wasn't. They just did an extended bumper between a sketch and the commercial breaker. I think you told me they went to commercial, and when they came back, they were still playing it. So they had just done a jam with G.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live band.
It was, yeah, and I think the fans call it Stompin' 8H, but who was the actual artist that night? Blues player, Robert Cray. Is it?
Maybe I'd have. To
I want to say Robert Cray was the actual, because I saw this episode the night it aired. And then
back
so
in the 80s still.
That was 87, and then this actually kind of goes to what's happening now. And then in 1989, Steve Lukather released an album, solo album. I believe Edward played bass on the track, and so Luke released a song called "Twist the Knife."
Which kind of borrows that riff.
It's the same music. Oh, it's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. And then Van Halen officially released the music himself under the song Dirty Water Dog.
Right. And Gary's lyrics are all over the place on that one, I think.
I can't even understand the lyrics on most of it. But this is a song, though. This was a song where, I think it was a Guitar World interview, Edward had said the guitar tone on Dirty Water Dog was very much like Andy Summers.
That clean tone, but loud and aggressive, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of has chorus on it. So he was going for kind of an Andy Summers Police era type of sound, which is cool. And I was a huge fan of Andy Summers by then, anyway. So that was cool. Once was like a keyboard ballad, I guess. But like I said, they released a video for that, but it was kind of not so much
the studio. It was like studio footage playing in slow motion, edited to the video.
I think it was studio. I think it was live too,
because there might have been live stuff. I just remember seeing the console.
Yeah,
the big studio console and stuff.
I believe it was released after the tour.
Yeah, probably. It was
like early '99. Mm-hmm. That was released. Fire in the Hole. That's the one we were talking about. Lethal Weapon, right?
Yeah.
Edward uses the trans tram.
Yeah, I thought that was the most aggressive rock song on the album, probably.
Yeah.
Close to Without You, up there with Without You.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one was cool, because of the trans tremolo. Josephina, acoustic song, might even be 12-string. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. There are parts that sound a little 12-string, and it's an interesting song just from composition standpoint, but a little meandering in a way.
Well, because this was the first time Edward had written music to lyrics. He had never done that before. Right. He was always the primary. Sorry, number 10. He was always like the primary, writer or music. He would come up with riffs.
Yeah,
and then give it to Roth or give it to Hagar, and they would come up with lyrics. For this album, for a lot of this, Cherone would write lyrics and give it to Edward, and he would come with music to the lyrics.
Yeah, he said that he was showing him like poetry he was writing, and it would inspire Eddie to write something with that in mind, and he had never worked that way before.
Yeah.
So in a way, you got to think of this album as like a total experiment in a lot of ways. Eddie was just experimenting.
That's what it was. It was a lot of experimental stuff. That's why a lot of the songs have so many different guitar parts, so many overdubs. I really feel like this was like the closest thing to an Eddie Van Halen solo record. And I think because it just didn't get the fans just didn't get it, I think that really was tough.
And Mike Post wasn't used to working with a rock band either. So he didn't know how to steer them towards making hits or anything like that. He just let Eddie kind of experiment.
I think I mean, Mike Post comes from the the TV world of TV soundtrack scoring, and where he's pretty much doing everything, right?
Yeah.
But let's see. So where are we? So Josephina, I think we kind of talked about. Mm-hmm. Year to the Day. That was That was the song where when they played that live, and again, I didn't see the concert. I mean, I saw VHS videos of it later. That was the song where they go from the middle of that into Edward's solo, where he's doing his whole cathedral eruption, all that stuff.
I just remember it was a really long solo on its own, even on the record, and I think they extended the solo live. But I'd like to go back and watch that 10-spot show and see if that's what they do.
They may have cut it out of that. I don't know, but maybe. If you watch any bootleg from this tour, year to the day, once he does his regular guitar solo, he goes into like 3/16.
And then do they bring it back to the end of the song?
Yeah. He goes through his entire solo spot, and then they go back into the song because that's when he was really using the sustainer. So you hear like all the sustaining. Wait, I have one right here.
I wonder what that would sound like. If only there was someone who could show us.
If only somebody actually played guitar on these shows. Let me see. So it'd be like, well, I'm not plugged in, but I'll give you guys a quick, and then we do have to make this a quick show
quick show. Everybody, get out of here.
It is St. Patrick's Day, and I'm supposed to be having a
pint down at the pub.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The sustainer.
So he wasn't using an EBO. He had the thing built into the guitar, but it was like.
Yep, you're doing that one sound from that song from A Year to the Day. When it's built into the neck, how do you just flip a switch and now all the strings are vibrating?
Yes.
Wow.
They're all vibrating, and so you can do anything.
You have to silence all the other ones?
Yeah, you have to mute.
Mute them all with your hand while you're playing one note on one string.
So it's something like that, and then he would go back into the song.
Very cool.
So very cool, very cool technique. I actually bought this. I got this in '98, probably because of that.
That's about 27 years ago.
I've had this thing for 27 years. I can't believe it. It's incredible. So. That was Year to the Day. Primary, that's the instrumental where he's playing the sitar, right? Kind of like a eruption, but he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely weird. It sounds like it's underwater, and it's kind of. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It just reminded me of watery imagery or something. The way it flowed. Yeah, it's worth checking out just at least once or twice if you're a Van Halen fan and just a fan of Eddie's work. This is Eddie in the studio, messing around and coming up with some cool stuff and saying, I want people to hear this cool stuff I'm coming up with.
Yeah, and like I said, it's unfortunate that a lot of fans just didn't see it. They didn't get it. But and then Ballad or the Bullet, that was kind of like a fast, right? That was like a fast tune.
Yeah.
Primary, I think, went into that.
Right.
And then How Many Say I? That one
didn't do it for you?
No. Like I said, I really thought this was like Edward's solo album. So for him to play piano, to sing, and something that a lot of people, a lot of Van Halen fans, maybe they weren't. Who's the guy? Roger Waters, right? Was it Roger Waters or
I don't know. I'm wearing a Roger Waters shirt today.
Oh, okay. I couldn't even see that. Okay. Anyway, I think Edward had done some music with him, right after this.
Yeah, around 2000, 2001, it was the soundtrack to a little film with, was it Tim Roth was in the film called The Legend of 1900.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was with Ennio Morricone, famous, legendary film score composer. Did all the Sergio Leone films, the spaghetti Western films. and this was like his last composition. And then Eddie and Roger Waters did a song at the end of that soundtrack to the melody of the main theme by Ennio Morricone.
Wow,
so
dude.
Definitely worth checking out. I have that CD somewhere. And yeah, Roger Waters sings on that, and Eddie's playing the guitar solo on it. It's beautiful.
So, yeah. So Edward, he was doing some different stuff. There was that, and then a lot of people, I think even him, he had when he was singing on How Many CI, he had compared his vocal to like Tom Waits.
Yeah,
or something.
That's about the nicest thing I think you can say about it. It was very rough from all the smoking or something. I don't know. It was very rough in the throat. And
so it's different. And like I said, I think because the album just didn't get the reception that they wanted or thought, that it was really tough on the band, and
they were used to being successful almost no matter what they did.
I mean, but again, it was it wasn't a good time for rock music. I mean, I remember opening up remember newspapers? Remember what those are?
Heard of those.
I remember opening up a newspaper in Desmond Child's kitchen one time. I was eating breakfast, and it was huge ads for NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. And this was around the time Van Halen 3 dropped, right?
Yeah. So pop music and hip hop were skyrocketing up the charts, and rock was kind of fizzling a little bit, and post grunge was coming to an end, and everyone was going, are we going to have a post grunge phase? No, it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
And then Van Halen went on a hiatus for a long time after that. I mean, they had the reunion show with Sammy in 2004, but they put out 3 songs on that greatest hits that were okay. They were fun. Didn't blow my mind until I tried to play them, actually.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, they had the 3 songs on there with Sammy in 2004, so that was what, 7 years later, 6 years later, and a disastrous tour, according to a lot of people. I went to 2 shows of that, and I had fun, even though it was kind of a mess.
Did I know you then? I didn't know you then.
No, we didn't meet till 2012. So
because I was at I went to San Jose.
I went to both Oakland and San Jose.
2004. I did not go to Oakland. I wish I would have. For some reason, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't remember which one was first, but Eddie's solo. Eddie had his hair up, which was a sign that
San Jose was first.
Okay, so we were at a show, and Eddie, it might have been, if I can make this comment, probably the worst solo you might have ever seen Eddie play. He couldn't remember how parts went. He stopped in the middle. He felt so embarrassed. The crowd was trying to cheer him up, Eddie, Eddie, and he was so grateful and stuff. Then in Oakland, he just had a better night, and you could tell he felt it. And at the end, he was taking bows and thanking everyone for all their love and stuff. But he was going through it at that time, big time. And then we didn't get anything until 2012, right? I mean, Dave came back in 2007, and they did a tour. But then they had to go into the studio. So it was between 1998 and 2012 till we got a new album. So it was a long, Samurai Eddie, you stayed away. That's what Sammy was saying. There
was bits and pieces of music.
Yeah.
There was the soundtrack, Catherine and Rise. You know, there was that stuff.
A couple little things, but it was almost a tease. Like, okay, Eddie, we know you're out there and you still have a guitar strapped to you. Why aren't we hearing a new album after almost a decade? It just seemed like it was so long. But this album is not just an absolute crap. Like a lot of people, even in chat, just went, oh, that sucked. Well, that's because you didn't hear what you wanted to hear and you didn't try it anymore. So at 17, I was open to hearing what my new favorite band was trying out, and I got more out of it than those people did, for sure.
Actually, let's talk about that. We do have to wrap up in a second here, but we do have 73 people watching right now, believe it or not. Believe it or not. See, love that song.
Mike Post. Did you know he also did, Law and Order?
Yes.
You know what? The donk donk?
Yep.
That's Mike Post. He came up with that. Brilliant.
I know. He did A-Team.
No way. Oh, that's a great song.
He did Rockford Files. Dude, he did
That's a
so
little before
many
my
themes. So, well, mine too, but he did so many theme songs.
Right, that you don't know he did, yeah. Was it Hill Street Blues I think he did too?
Hill Street Blues?
Yeah.
And The Who, or Pete, they have a song called a Mike Post theme.
Just so you guys know, we just had
Right?
an earthquake.
You really did?
Yeah.
Right there?
So a friend just texted me, and I'm like, "That's what that was." I heard a little shake.
Well, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, you may feel it in a minute. It was.
I'm 2 hours from you.
A minute or two ago, it was just a little wiggle.
I'd probably feel it here in a couple minutes. I'm over
really
here.
Dublin. Yeah, it might be too far north for you to feel, but
Oh, dude, Dublin, man.
yeah.
Laz, did you feel it?
Yeah,
Are you here, Laz? Did you feel it? He would have felt it.
Shot. Yeah.
In Livermore. I saw him a few months
Laz,
ago.
where are you?
Laz, are you okay? Earthquake.
He's trapped under all his gear that fell on him, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh.
We got to go down and save him.
Oh, it's horrible.
I would like you, when you're done, I would like you to roll up to 734, and Max Server had a really nice note for you there. If you missed
For me?
I don't want you to miss that one. Yeah.
What time was it at?
734.
Oh, Max Server. Johnny, you're the most positive person I've encountered in the past 10 to 20 years at least. Hats off to you. Dude, I can't take my hat off. You guys won't recognize me. But, dude, thank you so much. Hey, well, let me just say, this is... Oh, there he is. He's shipping at Safeway. What are you mailing at Safeway? Didn't feel it, though. I was driving.
It was just a baby wiggle. Nothing to write home about. No worry, Peggy. I hardly even noticed. I live in an apartment building. I can never tell if it's just someone closing a door hard somewhere or an earthquake.
I used to live in an apartment, man. Dude, when this album came out, well, no, I was living in Desmond's house.
Yeah.
When Desmond kicked me out, I was living in an apartment, and dude, the walls were paper thin. You could hear everything.
Yeah, I have a little bit of that, but it's not bad here.
I would play Van Halen 3. People are banging on my door. No,
Charles, you better prepare your loft up there for earthquakes.
I know. I think we were live on Twitch yesterday, or was that today? And I was telling you guys, yeah, I really need to. The loft really needs like help.
A baby gate or something.
Because of that. Yeah. So let me see. Well, hey, was it Max? Right?
Yeah.
Max Server. Thank you so much, man. I mean, why not be positive?
We live in a point in the history of the human species in which Eddie Van Halen also lived. What's not to be positive about?
Yeah. I mean, you got enough people on the internet just being negative and just being like terrible.
Boo, everything.
Booing everything. Boo earns. And
I was saying boo earns. I'll get your Simpsons references. Don't worry.
So, but hey, thank you so much. No, when it comes to Van Halen, I'm nothing but positive. I love this band.
I've got this thing, but I've got it up against the wall so there's no neighbors right behind me. Neighbors.
Yeah. Anyway, when it comes to Van Halen, I love everything Van Halen. I have no problem with any. Edward Van Halen, greatest of all time.
Yeah. And for me, this album, I think it was kind of similar to what a lot of people complain about with Metallica's Saint Anger album. The songs, I'll say this about both albums. The songs are really cool, really interesting. The recording of it could have had a second pass, second thought, because I think certain vocals and certain, on the Metallica album, the drums sounded horrible. On this one, I think Eddie sounded really cool. He was experimenting with his tone and trying different instruments and things. But Gary's vocals sounded really strained for some reason. I don't know why. But Gary sounds better on every other album I've ever heard him on. I swear. I don't know why.
I'll admit, most of his lyrics, I don't understand what he's even singing.
I think I read all the lyrics back in the day and got to know every word. But when they went live, by the way, when they went out on tour, and he played Dave stuff and he played Sammy stuff, and his vocals sounded so much better than on the album. That was an amazing tour. Don't let anyone tell you that era sucked, Gary sucked. Watch them live. If you can find footage of that show live, they were on fire. And some other people were saying so in the chat. It was a great tour. They should have made a live album out of that, because they played a little of everything.
They were recorded for radio. Like they were, I think they were.
Hear that.
They were either live on the radio. I think it's like Pennsylvania. There's a concert you can find, and it's pro. I mean, it's pro recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, because Eddie sounded great, man, on that tour. I think he was loving it, and then some other problems came along a little later, but he was in a good spot during that time because it was his baby. It was his, and I think Alex was saying, maybe it was that or a different kind of truth, that Eddie did like everything. Recorded the bass, recorded the drums.
It was this one.
It was this one. And then, the guys came in to do it live or whatever, but it was Eddie's baby. He built this from scratch. And I don't know that he'd ever done that on any album. And that's why you got to look at it differently. This is Eddie going, I'm going to do my thing, my way, me. Let it be about me at least this one time.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me, because I don't know that he was really thinking that, but that's one way I think of it.
I really think this album was his baby.
Yeah.
And that's why it was such a big deal when it just didn't commercially didn't do, or not even commercially. That's the thing. I think that's the main thing. Like commercially,
you can have a beloved album that doesn't sell well.
Yeah, but if the fans are like boo earns, I think that was the problem. But 27 years later, you guys check it out.
Give it a spin. You don't have to love it, but just listen to it with open ears and go, this isn't going to be 1984. This isn't going to be Van Halen 1. It's not even going to be For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge or Balance. It's a different departure for them.
Oh, very different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different, but it's not. Like
it's still Eddie.
For me,
the same guy.
It's still it's the same guy that wrote all the music. Yeah. So why wouldn't you want something that has even more? Like the guy that you guys all love, why wouldn't you want something that has even more of him? Like he's playing, I think he played the drums on it, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard, yeah.
I think he played everything.
Yeah.
Did everything on it.
Why even did vocals for the first time, lead vocals.
He even sang on the very last song. Why would you guys have a problem with that?
Yeah, you don't have to like put it on your wall and claim it as the greatest thing ever, but you can respect that this is something this guy wanted to make, and if you're a fan of his, give it a spin, give it a fair shot. You may end up liking some stuff on there.
Yeah, and the guitar picks that came with the tin were pink. How can you not like that?
Yeah, I got to bust out the tin for the 30th anniversary or something, because that'll be in 3 years. But I could show you. I lost the CD itself that came with the tin. It was in my portable CD player, and that went missing. And when it turned up in the Lost and Found at my high school, it didn't have the CD in it anymore. So I'm like, well, I hope somebody's enjoying it.
The Lost and Found.
And okay. Without You, When I Want, Fire in the Hole, and Josephina were your favorites. Hey, at least I got my CD player back. I had a backup copy of the CD,
Oh. I had it recorded onto cassette because I didn't have a CD player in my car that I was driving around Miami. So I had it on a cassette that I was listening to.
I was rocking the giant jacket in high school with a portable CD player in my pocket and headphones everywhere I went.
Oh, I was doing that years before.
Yeah.
But with AC/DC
Walkman,
CDs.
Right? Oh,
a CD Walkman. Okay. CD Walkman with AC. I was going to school with AC/DC, but then I was doing a paper route listening to Women, Children First.
What was the AC/DC album you were rocking at that time?
I had the is it Brian Johnson? What's the first one?
Bon Scott was first.
Back in Black.
Yeah.
I had Back in Black. Is there one called like Fly on the Wall or something?
For sure.
I had that one. I don't know.
I got into AC/DC around the Ball Breaker album in '95 and got to see them that year.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that was fun.
I've never seen them.
Oh, I've seen them twice. I saw them once on my birthday, and Slash's Snake Pit opened for them on my 20th birthday.
I saw Slash's Snake Pit open for Balance in San Jose in '95.
No kidding.
And I ran into the singer back in the hallway. I ran into that guy, and I've told this story. Alex Skolnick from Testament used to teach guitar lessons in the back room of this store that I worked at.
Okay.
And I remember telling him, "Hey, I'm going to see Van Halen, and Slash's band is opening." And he's like, "I know the singer. Wow. Hey, if you just happen to see him, tell him I said hello." And I just happened to run into him.
I know somebody who knows you.
I said, "Hey, Skolnick says hi." And the guy's like, "Oh, great. I have to go call my mom," because it was Mother's Day that day. Like, the guy wanted nothing to do with me.
Right. But cool, thanks.
But he's the singer that did, that backyard party Van Halen footage where they're playing Jump.
Backyard party?
You ever see that?
No.
At his house.
Was this an MTV thing, though?
No. This is, somebody bootlegged it. This was in 2000. What year was that? Anyway, the singer that's singing, it's the same guy.
Oh, cool.
It's the same dude. He was
great with Slash the Snake Pit. I always liked that singer. They only did 2 albums together, but AC/DC was super fun, and even as late as the '90s and beyond. Actually, they've been amazing all along. Now that's a band that didn't experiment too much, which is also something to be appreciated. But at least Eddie was interested in dabbling and trying new things.
Every song.
Yeah. Hey, man, I won't knock it because those albums, those AC/DC hits taught me to play bar chords. Yeah.
Oh, but it's awesome. I mean, I know.
In fact,
it's great stuff.
I got a goofy thing.
It's rock and roll. How come AC/DC fans don't go crazy about those singers changing?
Yeah, I don't. Well, one died.
Or Journey. How come Van Halen's the only band where people just bitch nonstop about the singers?
Have I ever shown you this?
No, but I have to talk over the music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard of that though.
Yeah, it plays a little bit of the song, and it looks like an amplifier or something. So
I might have been with you when you bought that. Maybe. Was that you?
I don't know.
That's very familiar. I don't know.
This is one of my toys up here.
Oh, so, cool.
Got a few of them. Remember this one?
No.
It came with a T-shirt.
Oh. Dude, have you seen mine? Have you seen mine?
T-shirt? Oh, yeah, you've got it framed and signed.
Mine's actually signed by Edward.
Okay, you win, okay?
That was actually a friend of mine who worked for him sent that to me.
That's so cool.
Here, I'll show you. So that, for me...
There was a singer before Bon Scott, but not that was on any albums. Look at that.
All the Best Johnny. So it's actually to me. Cool. It's actually to me. Edward Van Halen, 2016.
Oh, this was in 2016. So after the final tour.
Yeah, it was after. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's all a talk for another episode where we dive into, AC/DC stuff, guys.
Well, I'll do that.
Why not?
I'll do that. Really quickly, though, we do have to wrap it up. But let me get your thoughts. Everybody's talking about this right now, and then this was the previous. Lukather has since said that yes,
it's true.
Alex did contact him, but he will not play any guitar on anything. And so far, there's nothing going on. But
it's a thought idea.
But Alex did contact him to go through material and to source material to put out.
I guess I just wonder how much if at all, Wolfie's involved in that process, because he's always been the one going through the vault and picked out a lot of the tracks that would end up on A Different Kind of Truth. And
yeah, but that was before he was doing his own thing.
Yeah, true.
But I do think that as far as any music that would come out.
Eashurt said, "Well, if he's not going to play guitar, is he going to play kazoo?"
Huh? Steve Lukather? I don't know. Does he play kazoo?
I'd take a kazoo solo from Lukather. He's probably pretty good.
Is there a kazoo solo on any Toto songs?
I'd have to do some research on that.
I don't think Wolfgang. I mean, who knows?
Busy,
Nobody knows. But
that's his home studio. He's still working out of 5150, right?
Oh yeah.
And
so
that's where the vault is, as far as I know.
He's working on his own records there.
Yeah.
So I think as far as going through material, yeah, of course, I think Wolfgang would be there and he would help go through stuff. Mm-hmm. As far as the stuff being
Wolfgang will not be involved. We'll see.
Well, I think, see, again, nobody knows. I don't know anything. I can't tell you guys anything for sure, but my thoughts on it are, if Alex Van Halen is getting Steve Lukather to help go through the material, which that's basically what it sounds like. He just wants somebody that he knows, good friend of theirs for a lot of years, to go through the studio, go through the material, find stuff to potentially release. As far as Wolfgang not being involved, I think we'll probably hear Wolfgang playing on some of the material, but stuff that's probably already been done.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
what I think. Like if there's bass on these songs, it's Wolfgang.
Why not? Yeah.
But as of right now,
so if he's not playing guitar, is the theory, perhaps, I guess we're guessing here, it's anybody's guess, that any guitar we hear would be an AI recreation, or not fully AI, but like gaps that might be missing or ways to put pieces of music together?
It would be,
or Eddie.
I mean, of course, of course, any Van Halen song, it always started with Edward's guitar. So there's going to be guitar there.
Yeah.
I think one of the main things about these songs that they're looking to use, or the music, is that there's possibly there aren't all the guitar solos, because that's something Edward would do later.
You would craft those, and it, even as far back as the first album, it might consist of 17 different takes, but they would use little bits that work together to craft the solo.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are kind of they're all over this because Alex had talked about open AI and using AI to possibly create guitar solos.
I'm pretty iffy on that, but I'm interested to see what they can do. I'll listen to whatever it is for sure.
Yeah. But as far as Lukather, he said he would not play any guitar on it. He's not forming a new band with Alex.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
That Van Halen 4 tease we were telling you about, the news is not happening. That's the news.
Thanks goodness.
For saying.
Yeah. No, I'll take anything. I mean, they can do whatever. I don't care.
Right.
Because if it's Alex Van Halen, if Alex Van Halen releases it, it's Van Halen. Like it or not, it's Van Halen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. A lot of people are going to say, I don't want to hear any AI. I kind of get that, because it's not. It's like when they were doing these commercials where they would bring back dead actors to sell a vacuum cleaner, and it's like, that's.
What about that Beatles? What about that Beatles song though?
It didn't.
Do you know that one?
Yeah, the new one they put out called.
The very last one. There was a video to it and everything.
Here and there, or there and gone.
They had a cassette of John Lennon.
Yeah.
Like supposedly McCartney had started working on it back in 95, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just a recording of Lennon playing a piano, and you could hear like a TV like in the background or something. So with AI now, they were able to, thank you, Lewis. They were able to clean it up and play on it and make, and the music video has kind of AI versions of them.
The video was kind of cool. Actually,
the video was cool.
Yeah, I like that. That was cool to see. But the song didn't do anything for me. Even as a Beatles fan, I'm like, not their best stuff.
Are you
Love Me Do?
Are you like a mega Beatles fan?
No. Would never claim to be that. But
casual
fan for sure.
So if Van, yes.
Real quick, what's the tie-in between the Beatles and Van Halen 3? Pop quiz, everybody. At the end of Without You, when they played it live, remember this?
Yes.
They would sing. What was the part they would sing?
Life is very short.
Life is very short, and there's no time.
Yep.
And they would close it right there.
And Edward played the chord. So the very end of Without You, that was, yep. There you go, dude. I had forgotten about that.
Dumb trivia. That's my middle name.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Oh crap, we're half an hour.
Yeah. Wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
We gotta go.
Video games today.
I got green eggs to eat or something. Channel members, you guys, thank you so much for your continued support for this channel and these shows. You guys.
Hey, there's me.
Even though it's a pop-up show, sort of. Those of you that are here, that help support these shows, just thank you so much, you guys, and Mr. Mike, thank you so much. I had sent him a mess. This show was actually your fault because I was live on Twitch earlier, doing nothing.
Driving.
I was sleeping. I was doing a sleep stream, and you're like, Johnny, guess what? Today's the anniversary of Van Halen 3. I'm like, what? You're right.
Guys, I'm the reason you're all here. Wrap it up.
I got to do a show. Right?
Yep. Well, yeah, anybody I saw a lot of people in the beginning saying, I never really listened to that album, or I don't think I remember hearing that album. Give it a spin. It's out there on the internets.
Yeah. Check it out. Go into it with an open mind. It's been 27 years now.
Yeah,
go into it.
You don't have to tell anyone you listen to it either if you don't want.
No. Check it out. Report back. Drop your comments. How about let's try this. Drop your comments below on this video. What did you think of Van Halen 3? What are your favorite songs from Van Halen 3?
And don't forget to smash that thumbs up.
And smash the thumbs up. We got, I only see 15. Is that true? We got 75 watching, but only 15 thumbs ups.
Come on, kids.
Double tap that screen. It's green.
Twitch, it won't work.
We're not on Twitch tonight.
Oh, good. Oh, we're on Facebook. Facebook doesn't work, right?
We're on Facebook and nobody cares.
Somebody was on there. I saw somebody chirping in.
Oh, yeah. If you're on Facebook, thank you so much. Okay. All right. We're out of here. Thank you for watching, Mr. Mike. Thank you again, dude.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
You should have done the whole show like that.
I do a terrible Irish accent. Toy toy.
You should have read through all those songs.
Oh, what I want. Remember that song? It was about the one that I wanted. Fire in the hole.
Oh my gosh.
I'm doing some bad cartoon version of an Irish accent.
Cool. All right.
All right, you guys. Get out of here.
We got to go. Thank you so much. We'll say goodbye off the air. You guys, thumbs up, smash. I'll be on Twitch later doing some video. It's already 8 o'clock. Damn. I'll be on Twitch in 20 minutes. We'll see you guys later. Okay.
Rock on, guys. Thanks for having me.
You guys rock. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys on the next show right here on, what channel is this, Corey?
Hey, it's Corey Feldman. You're watching Johnny Bean TV, I guess.
Right on. Dude, thank you guys for watching. Click on another video on the screen here. Drop your comments below. Van Halen 3, what do you think? I will see you guys probably tomorrow here on Johnny Bean TV. Now come on over to Twitch. All right. Bye-bye.